An excellent strategic race yesterday saw a new driver in Nico Müller take to the top step of the podium, playing the mandatory pit stop perfectly to pull away from the field. Today though, there is no mandatory pit stop, it's just a straight up sprint to the checkered flag. You're listening to live and exclusive radio coverage of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship, Motorsport's premier all-electric single-seater racing category, here on the talkSPORT network and the Formula E app as we get ready to go racing once again. It's myself, Lewis McGlade, in the booth. Cameron Roger joins me as he did yesterday for round 8 of the season 12 and a 37 laps to the second of our 2026 Hankook Berlin E-Prix. Once again, we race the 2.3 kilometre 15-turn Berlin Tempelhof circuit. It's the 23rd time we've raced here, and as we mentioned yesterday, we had 15 different winners around this track. Now make it 16 as Nico Müller was racing his way to the front. We also have a new championship leader in Edo Mortara. The first time he's led the title race in the Gen 3 era, and the first time he's been to the top of the points since the 17th of July 2022. That is 1,386 days ago. It's slightly warmer here in Berlin than yesterday, where drivers were struggling with not only tyres on the abrasive concrete surface, but also with keeping the powertrain and battery cool enough to go on the attack late in the race. With us running a race that's 2 laps shorter than yesterday and no mandatory pit stops, which issues will the drivers face in yet another tricky test for some of the best racers in the world? The grid order has been set though, and let's talk you through the 20 drivers from back to front. It's all Cupra Kiro on the final row of the grid as Dan Tickton will start alongside Pepe Marti. Ahead of them is the world champion Ollie Rowland from 18th position alongside Mitch Evans, who came into this hungry for some more points. He'll be starting from 17th position, but there's some potential strategy gains for them from that point. Norman Nata will start from 16th alongside Lucas Di Grassi, who announced a retirement earlier on in the week. Max Gunther will start from 14th after a three-place grid penalty for impeding Jake Dennis in qualifying. Sebastian Buemi's last victory was 1 year ago. When it comes to tomorrow, it was on May 4th, 2025. We're starting from 13th position. Jake Dennis will start from 12th. Nico Müller had his first victory yesterday. He'll be running from 11th position. Edo Mortara tops FP3 and he's the championship leader on an all Mahindra row number 5 alongside Nick De Vries. He'll be starting from 9th position. Antonio Felix Acosta started every race this season from inside the top 10. He'll be rolling off of 8th with Felipe Drugovich, whose last points were around this circuit last season. Ahead of them it's Zane Maloney, who's having his best ever start in Formula E from 6th alongside John-Eric Byrne. He was beaten by his teammate Nick Cassidy in the duels. He'll be taking his Citroen from 5th. Joel Ericsson's also having his best ever start for the Envision team in 4th. He'll be starting alongside Nick Cassidy, who's on his 3rd straight top 5 start. On the front row of the grid then, that leaves Taylor Barnard, who's had no podium since joining DS Penske. It's Pascal Wehrlein, who technically takes his 2nd pole position of the season, but after a penalty at the opener of the season, this is actually the first time he'll get to start from that pole position. As we've mentioned, Cam, it's a thrilling race. We've got 2 laps left. This is going to be a great one.
Certainly have, but we have 2 attack modes. We don't have pit boost, but we do have 2 attack modes this time around for a total of 8 minutes. But as you say, with a couple of laps less, it's going to be interesting.
All the talk through qualifying, some of the teams, like I've said before, and drivers are well out of position. For some of the drivers, there was a bit of talk in qualifying that that might not have been the worst strategy in the world, potentially saving tyres for today's E-Prix.
Yes, the concrete surface is absolutely tearing up these Hankook tyres, and what we are seeing was in qualifying was some drivers saving their fresh set of tyres for the race. And looking at the grid, they're certainly doing that. It's going to be a long race of conservation, so having those speed on the fresher rubber may be quite useful, even if you sacrifice a couple of rows on the grid.
If you are joining us for the first time for the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship, for starters, hello, welcome. We've got some of the greatest racing on planet Earth in this championship, the fastest accelerating single-seaters on planet Earth. But of course, one of the main things to talk about in this will be that we're going to have a lot of changes for the lead in the early stages as everyone tries to run their energy numbers.
Certainly will. No burnouts to the grid for most of the drivers. They're keeping everything cool. That's the tyres, that is the powertrains as well. It's a hot day out here in Berlin as the grid is set.
Expected 28 degrees ambient temperature, still quite a lot of wind around. It is obviously effectively an old airport. There's not too much to block the wind apart from the main terminal building. They've pulled their 2 rows forward, they've done their small little burnouts, and they are in position. 5 lights are on and 37 laps ahead of us. The second of the Hankook Berlin E-Prix is go, with Pascal Wehrlein leading from pole position down into the opening corner. Taylor Barnard has had a great start as well from second as he fends off the number number 37 of Nick Cassidy. They go 3 wide for about 7th position with a big look to the inside from Antonio Felix da Costa trying to get past Zane Maloney, but he cannot find his way through. It'll be da Costa remaining in 8th position, Zane Maloney in 7th. That race leader, though, remains in the Porsche with Pascal Wehrlein. Batters as they head their way through the middle part of the circuit has Felipe Drugovich looking down the inside of Joel Eriksson, but that will remain the Envision ahead in 5th.
Everyone is going so slow at the beginning of this lap. No one really wants to lead. Wide goes Wehrlein. He almost lets through Bernard there. Through turn 7. They want to be conserving at this point in the race, and everyone is going 2 by 2. No sort of major overtakes as everyone's trying to file for position.
It is very much the pack race like we've seen at a few different circuits as everyone's trying to hit the energy numbers. No pit boost this race. No time for them to come into the pit lane and get 10% extra energy. They're starting, though, with these same amount of energy as they did yesterday. It was 38.5 kilowatt hours, which they technically started the race. They obviously added 10% of that back in the pit stop yesterday, but as there is no pit boost, they just have to run the entire race distance. Yes, 2 laps shorter than yesterday, but with the full 38.5 kilowatt hours. It's Taylor Barnard then who's worked his way up to the race lead. Nick Cassidy and John-Eric Byrne is 2nd and 3rd. Dropping down the order is Pascal Wehrlein. He's battling for 3rd position at the moment as he tries to go around the outside through the opening complex. Now we go into this chicane. It goes from left to right at turns 3 and 4, and he remains side by side with John-Eric Byrne. But I will say this, Cam, there was an awful lot of space given, and you can see that there's a lot of energy numbers being saved, Cam.
Absolutely. Everyone is being so conservative. De Vries just went past 2 cars, Jean-Eric Byrne and Wehrlein coming down into turn number 6. No one on the throttle, everyone lifting, coasting, making sure that they're hitting that energy number because we don't have the pit boost, we don't have the extra 10% energy. Even with negative 2 laps, we are even more critical on the energy number to date. So these guys are going to be playing the long game.
Now, obviously, in this, we have a pack for the race lead where they're actually going side by side, even at this point as they head into the final complex of corners, this sort of elongated left-hander that tightens through turns 12, 13 and 14. We have basically this big pack. That pack creates an awful lot of heat. Now, I have noticed, Cam, if you look at our little tracker, we've got a little driver tracker here in the commentary booth where we can see where some of the cars have ended up. On the back of 15th place, which is Max Gunther, we've got Norman Nato, Evans, Marty, Tictum and Rowland. All of them are about 1.5 seconds off the back of the pack. That is an intentional strategy game. They want to be as far out of this as possible.
Yeah, we saw this already. So the 2 Cupra Kiros, Marty, Tictum, and then also Rowland, the 3 of them, they basically didn't pull away from the grid on purpose. They chose to let everyone go through, but at the front here, I mean, it's a little bit of carnage. We're 3 wide from it, the 2 Mahindras, and now we're seeing Joel Eriksson come through, try and take the race lead for now, as they're all vying for space 4 wide down in towards T8.
Is the inside line for Nick Cassidy, though. We're about to come round to complete our 3rd lap of racing. 35 to go at this point. It'll be 34 at the line. It's a look to the outside. It's actually Sebastian Boemi for the Envision team, using his experience, one of the drivers that's been there since the very, very start. And as I mentioned before on the starting grid, as of tomorrow, it would be 1 year since Boemi's last victory on the streets of Monte Carlo. Here's Ollie Rowland on the radio.
Something happened, I did the car didn't go at the start.
I said it was intentional. His car did not move on the race start initially. It took him about 1 second to get going. That said, I don't think he'll be particularly worried as the side-by-side for 2 Envisions for 2nd position. I'll update you with the race order, but it is chopping and changing very, very quickly. At the moment, it's Taylor Barnard leading here in Berlin. It's Eriksson and Boemi for Envision. It's Mortara and De Vries for Mahindra. It's the 2 Citroens of Cassidy and Byrne. As to the outside, there was contact there between De Vries and Cassidy, as Cassidy was trying to go right around the outside of Nick De Vries in the battle for 5th position. Cassidy's dropped right the way down the order, also off the line. I wonder if there might even be a puncture for Nick De Vries. Just too aggressive there as they were going 3 wide through 6 and 7.
It was 3 wide, trying to make it 4 wide. You are correct. There is a puncher for De Vries. He is crubbing down this back straight. He's going to have to come in, and that's really going to lose him a whole load of time. Fortunately, it's just a couple of corners to go, but by the time he comes back out, he's going to be half a lap behind.
I do think that Nick Cassidy's car might well be all right, but contact between the 2 Nicks will see the Mahindra of De Vries into the pit lane. We're going to get our replay on our screens. Cam, talk me through it.
So we're coming down into the hairpin of turn 6. We're seeing Buemi there up the inside, trying to make it work with the two Mahindras, and then Cassidy's on the outside, but he just got a hip check.
It was 4 wide. I thought it was 3, and I'm assuming that might have been what Cassidy thought. De Vries was trying to hold himself in the middle of it, then got a hit from Edo Mortara, who also had Joel Eriksson on the inside, and that's what sent Cassidy out wide. Knowing some of the team radio that we've had from Cassidy in the years prior, I wouldn't be too surprised if there's going to be a relatively angry Nick Cassidy on the radio there in the Citroen team. Big hit for Nick De Vries, who finds himself with a puncture and into pit lane. I do believe that Cassidy's car is, relatively speaking, fine. He might have a bit of damage on his wing. Just a racing incident there, Cam?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think anyone did anything wrong. So was, the 16 car Buemi on that inside. He had the racing room to the car that he was racing of Mortara, so he did nothing wrong there. De Vries is getting out, so he's not even going to get back out into the race. That's a big shame for him, a driver who is not doing as good as he would have wanted. 14th place in the championship, and of course your champion from 2021.
It's funny because he gave me about Imola and says he never makes a mistake in work.
Now, by Imola, he's obviously not talking about the APFA Formula E World Championship. He's talking about the World Endurance Championship, which, like I say, there's a little bit of beef between some of the drivers. They do race in the World Endurance Championship as well. They go, obviously, to places like Imola. They go racing at the Circuit de la Sarthe. Obviously, Imola, the season opener of that was just a week ago, and it was fantastic to see, once again, the hypercars take to the circuit. We do get a lot of our Formula E drivers heading over to that neck of the woods. I think De Vries, though, has retired, less so for a puncture, more so for I think it was a rear toe link or something of that kind of vein that was broken. Is Cassidy again on the radio?
Energy to the others.
Nothing this lap. Let's try to go up a bit.
That's an interesting. I think he's just getting a little bit hot-headed in there, as we see, but the energy reveal is going to come out, and that's why they couldn't really answer him too much. And we are seeing about 87% across the board, 88 for some. So it is very, very close. No one is really any higher or lower. Those who were staying at the back, the Cupra Kiro cars, Marty Tickton, and then of course Roland for Nissan as well, they just got 1% more than others sitting on the back of the field. The issue for them is Mitch Evans is involved in them. There's 4 cars, including those drivers, off the back of the main peloton. So they still need to then catch that gap eventually, although with how crazy it is in front of them, I don't think that's going to be too much. It's chopping and changing inside the top 10. Here's Buemi.
Except these underconsumptions are just great. Just great. Keep this up.
I believe that's Connor Somerville on the radio there to Sebastian Buemi. At the moment, it's Envision leading 1 and 2. Remember, we've still got 2 attack modes for each of the drivers to use. That's why they're trying to keep things as cool as possible. They're trying to not overheat the batteries, not overheat obviously the power cell and the powertrain. To give you a bit of a reference as to the times we're running at the moment and how controlled they're being on the field. Yesterday, they were running in normal 300 kilowatt running. It was about 1 minute 1. Here's Buemi again.
3 laps are important. 3 laps are important. Maximise this.
Assuming they mean that they're going to come down into attack mode fairly soon. But yes, indeed. So it was 1 minute 1 was basically what they were running yesterday in that kind of vein. They're running 1 minute 7. So it is about 6 seconds slower a lap at the moment than what we were running yesterday, because everyone's being so cautious with the energy numbers.
So interesting, because you think when they're going that slowly, if someone was to just drive away at the front and gain a 5-second gap, surely that would potentially be an idea, but no one ever tries that, because keeping that energy for later in the race is so important. Right now you want to stay with the pack and have that number later on. As you say, the attack mode is going to be coming very quickly for some of these drivers by the looks of it. 3 laps maybe for Buemi.
I think something was going wrong with Nick Cassidy, just dropped him back into the background, and indeed I think his front wing has fallen to pieces a little bit and might have caused a bit of a puncture. He was running at about 12th or 13th position and coming out of turn 10. I think he might have even had more contact. It was actually whilst he was up for the race lead, he went into the back of Sebastian Buemi, causing more front wing damage as there was some coasting coming down to turn 6 and 7. And once again, he will drop right the way down. He's into the pit lane is Nick Cassidy, and unfortunately will be out of this one. His hand was up, he was gesturing over it. I don't think he's going to be too happy.
What the is that about that? He just moves completely once I moved.
I mean, everyone is lifting and coasting, slowing down, and it's a very difficult situation to judge because you don't really, okay, we do have the rain lights on the back that flash, but you don't really have a proper indicator of when everyone's going to be lifting off. Some of these drivers are lifting off halfway down the straight, so it's very difficult to judge, and they're just clipping the back of the Envision car.
As we complete the 9th lap of the race, we'll have 28 left to go. It's Max Günther leading for DS Penske, although make that Edo Mortara who comes around the outside. I'll do my best to give you the top 10, but I'm going to have to speak quick here because it's going to be changing time and time again. It is Edo Mortara, championship leader at the moment at the head of the field. It's Max Günther behind, then Buemi, Wehrlein, Ericsson, Drugovic, Da Costa, Verne, Muller and Taylor Barnard, the top 10. One car out of the race being Nick De Vries, one car into the pit lane being Nick Cassidy for repairs to his front wing. He has returned to the race circuit, and we continue racing. No takers into attack mode as they go 3 wide for 2 rows deep, going through turns 3 and 4. It's a tight left-hander into a tight right, but Jean-Eric Verne, Felipe Drugovic and Antonio Felix da Costa said, we'll do that. And then behind that, I think it was Taylor Barnard, Ericsson and Muller said, oh, we'll give it a go as well. 3 wide for 2 rows. Incredible stuff.
That's amazing. A 2x2 by 3x3 for the top 10 coming through the first few corners there. That is remarkable. The fact that they are able to give each other the space. Günther continues to have the lead, but it's now Wehrlein. He was down in P9, P10 a couple of laps ago, and he's come back up, just showing you how quickly you can do that if you want to stay on the throttle and gain some positions. Here's Roland.
You have 3% more shock than top 8 cars, same shock than Tom and Marty, 1% more than events.
And this is really important for Ollie Rowland, who finds himself down in 16th position, but finds himself 5 seconds off the race lead. That sounds like a lot, but remember, I just said that he's in 16th position. That means that there is so many cars in that 5-second gap up ahead of him, and he's got the energy that he can use to try and get past. And there was a big hit on the inside for Taylor Barnard as he's going through turn 2. This tight left-hander, it might have been Max, no, it definitely was Taylor Barnard. He clobbered the curb on the inside. Thankfully, was all right in doing so in the black and gold DS Penske. Remember, he's hunting not only his first victory in Formula E, he's hunting his first podium in the black and gold.
This is a race where you have to keep level-headed. The positions are chopping and changing so quickly. It's going up and down, left and right. So you just have to look at your numbers, speak with your race engineer and your strategist, and work out what the best form is going to be. We've seen Wehrlein have a look to the inside, trying to get the race lead with 4 wide in towards the penultimate corner. Mortara through the middle of the 2 Envisions to go round the outside. He goes deep though, and Buemi retakes the race lead.
Yeah, Buemi then to the front. Edo Mortara, Ericsson, Wehrlein and Jean-Eric Verne, the top 5. 5 drivers with an awful lot of experience in the ABFA Formula E World Championship. Now Max Günther's throwing it through. He was in 6th position. He's trying to take over the race lead. It's 3 wide for the race lead though, as it is Ericsson at the front now for the Envision team. It's Wehrlein and Buemi behind. Envision are looking strong so far this afternoon. On percentage numbers though, it is realistically the best though for Dan Ticktum and for Ollie Rowland. Rowland's already gone up from 12th position, although he just drops back behind De Grassi, so now finds himself down in 13th. That Nissan are not rushing this thing forward. They are not forcing the issue. They're not pushing themselves forward. They are playing a long game here this afternoon, and it is going to be required. We've completed 11 laps of racing. We have 26 left to go. Ericsson is your leader.
Certainly is. It stayed calm for the last half a lap, but we are 2x2 for basically the top 15 cars as it stands. Now we come onto this back straight away out of turn 10. And we are seeing some pushing now. So Ollie Rowland is now into the 1 minute 3. He's jumped up to 9th position. Remember, we were saying he was off the back by a good couple of seconds. He's now working his way through with that extra energy. He's using what he's saved now to try and get back to the front.
And he's still got 4% more than Ericsson, who is our race leader. Incredible stuff here from Ollie Rowland. Faster by the whole field has now started to step up. Yes, he was faster on the previous lap by about 2 to 3 seconds. Now he was just about half a second faster than our race leaders, but he's starting to work his way through it. He's still Ericsson leading, Buemi and Günther, Mortara, Wehrlein, Rowland, Verne, Drugovic, Da Costa and Muller, the top 10. Big look to the inside from Ollie Rowland, who I just mentioned was at the back end of the top 10 not too long ago. I was mentioning him as in 15th position. He's in 6th now, and he's attacking to try and find himself even onto the podium.
Yeah, if you're trying to imagine what we're describing, imagine a car park, but all of the drivers are swapping positions every time. They are literally nose to tail, side by side, every single corner, swapping positions. Everyone's lifting off. They're trying to save that energy and holding up the drivers behind. We're still 3 wide for second position, but it looks like Ericsson has made his way through. We're already seeing attack mode being used by Maloney further back down. He's in P15, but does that open the door for anyone up ahead to try and do the same?
Lola Yamaha both their cars were quite aggressive yesterday. Zane Maloney and Lucas Di Grassi, they were both leading at 1.1 and 2, but then of course after the pit stops they actually ended up losing an awful lot of time. Unfortunately, neither car were able to score points. They've certainly got the pace here at the Berlin Tempelhof. The thing is, I don't think you want to lose too much track position around here, because I think you get dropped into all of the heat of the mid-pack, and it sometimes can be quite difficult to keep the car from overheating. As Ollie Rowland then, he's not proving me right on that at all. He's straight to the outside to try and make it 3 wide for third position. He's in 5th at the moment. He's gone around the outside of Edo Mortara. He was trying to do it on Sebastian Buemi as well. At the moment, it's Max Günther leading the race. It's Ericsson behind. Here's Buemi on the radio.
So Rowland is near you. He's pushing hard.
Yes, that's very obvious. He's up into 3rd position now, and he's actually got past Buemi since that radio message. But though Buemi goes wide to the outside of the final couple of corners, tries to go around the outside for Günther for the race lead, is going to get chopped off as it really narrows at the final apex of turn 14, and it's Günther who leads. But the Envision cars still keeping themselves up to the front.
Whoa, there was a big squeeze almost into the barrier. I think that was Nico Muller who was almost pushing the barrier, maybe by Edo Mortara on the start-finish straight. He was squeezed out. There was definitely a bit of 4 wide there, and there was a bit of a brush. Into attack mode then comes the Citroen, a little bit further down, of Jean-Eric Verne. He's dropped down to now 17th position after taking that attack mode, but have been losing ground for a couple of laps. The race lead at the moment is being held by Sebastian Buemi. He's gone fastest in the first sector. We've completed 14 laps. We have 23 left to go. At the moment, the race order for the top 10. It's Buemi, it's Günther, it's Ericsson, Rowland and Wehrlein. Da Costa finishes currently running in 6th position with Edo Mortara in 7th. In attack mode, moving his way through, Zane Maloney finds his Lola Yamaha act in 8th. Then it's Nico Muller winner yesterday, leading Pepe Marti in 9th and 10th. Behind all that, let's go for it. Why not? It's Norman Nato, Drugovic, Dennis, Tickton, Taylor Barnard in 15th position with Jean-Eric Verne, who's just got up ahead of him, was running in 16th. And it's Di Grassi, Evans and Cassidy, the running order at the moment. Nick De Vries currently out of the race for the Mahindra team after contact between himself and Nick Cassidy.
And Cassidy is a minute off the back of the pack, so really hoping some others have some dramas up ahead if he wants to come out on top of that one. Maloney is trying to push his way through now. He's got 50 seconds left of the 4 minutes opening attack mode that he took, and he's now up into 6th position, so this is working out well. But of course everyone around him will still need to get their extra power, the attack mode, a little bit later on. It's still very aggressive now. We are seeing the lap times come up a lot. You mentioned a few laps ago, Lewis, 107s, 106s, and now 102s. That's 4 seconds faster.
Incredible how much faster they're going now than they were earlier. I think it's more incredible how reserved they were earlier on. It's so hard as a racing driver to be that calm and collected. Roland's on the radio now.
Ericsson moving a lot on the brakes.
Struggling to find his way past the 2 Envisions was Ollie Rowland, but obviously he's found his way through now and has better energy than anyone else behind him. This was the scene, the location of him taking the World Championship in season 11. Obviously that was only a few months ago, because this was the penultimate round of the 11th season of the ABFA Formula E World Championship. Ollie Rowland, our current world champion, is now our race leader.
Nato and Drugovic they also go 4 minutes. So it's 8 minutes in total. You can either do 4 and 4 or 6 and 2. And everyone who's taken it so far have all done 4 minutes. It'll be very interesting to see if someone goes for the 6 minutes earlier on when we get to that point. But at this moment, I believe it's 4 drivers taking the opening attack modes, but they will need to do a second one as you get to halfway in the race.
Verne's just set the fastest lap of the race, and I mentioned he was running in, what, 17th, 18th position? Yeah, he's running in 4th now. He's used attack mode to come through the field brilliantly, but as the pace gets picked up a little bit, sometimes that can get harder. Here's Buemi.
Rowland has a lot of energy. Do not let him go.
And basically saying you cannot let Ollie Rowland run away with this, because if we let him have a bit of a gap, he might be able to run away with the entire afternoon. The problem is that Buemi has 3% less energy than our race leader, who's just set the fastest lap. That now goes back down to Jean-Eric Verne. The race leader has Ollie Rowland in it. Then it's Buemi, then Verne in 3rd position. Then it's Günther, Ericsson, Maloney, Wehrlein, Mortara, Da Costa and Muller, the top 10.
We see another attack mode being used by Bernard as he goes down to 17th, 18th place even with taking that. He was up in second place, even leading at 1 point. So that just shows you how quickly you go up and down. But we don't have that car park effect of the 2x2x2. It's really stretched out into a single file formation as Roland at the front is pushing. We're now into the 1 minute ones.
I think this at the moment, at least from what I'm seeing, as all the mechanics and even the driver of Nick de Vries, all the team managers look on, I think this race might well be going into the hands of Ollie Roland, who's really taken control of this race this afternoon. He's worked his way up from 19th position to 18th position up to the front of the field. It is quite the charge from him. And at the moment, he leads the race not only in sense of time, but he is the only driver in the top 10. He's the only driver in the top 12, in fact, that had 60% of energy left. Everyone else was in the 50s. He is comfortably better than everyone else on energy, as he's just about to lose the race lead to Jean-Eric Vergne, who looks to the inside into turn 2. Jean-Eric Vergne runs out of attack mode, but does take over the race lead. Now into attack mode comes Joel Eriksson from 5th.
And also Da Costa, who's going to rejoin in about 12th, 13th position. Here's Roland again.
First car with more, so he stick to P31% more than you.
That's such an interesting piece of information. So Roland was at the back with Tictum in those first couple of laps, but Roland's managed to get to the front. Tictum still sat there in 13th place, choosing not to come through the pack in such an aggressive manner. But I think it's working out for Ollie and the Nissan team as it stands up there in second place. He's got 3% more than all of the drivers around him.
I remember Tictum's done this one before, where he's played the long game, and sometimes it really, really works. In fact, I think it was around here not too long ago where he did it. A bit of a switch for second position as Norman Nato, who's in attack mode, find his way through past his teammate. Ollie Roland now runs in third position. Norman Nato runs in second, has a minute left to go of his attack mode, and they'll be closing up to the back of Jean-Eric Vergne. Fastest lap goes the way of Norman Nato, but it's now moved down to Taylor Barnard, just set a 59.853. We're already under the 1 minute barrier, as into attack mode now comes Sebastian Buemi from fourth position. Jean-Eric Vergne continues to lead, and as Buemi comes out of attack mode, he comes out into 3 wide. There was Drugovic ahead of him, there was Zane Maloney ahead of him, there was Taylor Barnard ahead of him, all 3 of them side by side. Zane Maloney backs out in the Lola Yamaha at Taylor Barnard now runs in 6th position. Sebastian Buemi decides that now's the time to go on the attack as he tries to make it 3 wide himself down the inside of Zane Maloney. And I was going to say it was one of the Jaguars, but I'm not sure who that would be. It must have been Antonio Felix da Costa. He was well offline then.
Yeah, Buemi getting chopped up by the youngsters. He may have done 150 races yesterday in Formula E, crossed over that milestone, but it is the younger drivers in, well, Belou's in his second season. Obviously, Drugovic has just done a couple of wild cards, now his first full-time season, but they are showing you how it is done as well. At the front, Nato leads by 1.5 seconds almost as he comes to the end of his attack mode.
It's so tight between some of these drivers, but we're seeing some of those gaps build up. I don't think Norman Nato is going to be running away with things this afternoon. I think he will be closed up by the group, but I love how patient Ollie Roland was. He's very patient at times yesterday as well, and that's kind of what he was seeing a lot through his championship winning run last season. Norman Nato leads by 2.1 seconds. It's Ollie Roland behind, a Nissan 1-2 at present. Then it's Jean-Eric Vergne, Eriksson, Taylor Barnard, who's still in attack mode, got 40 seconds left of it, as does Sebastian Buemi, who's directly behind in 6th position. It's a minute 40 of attack mode for the Jaguar TCS Racing driver of Antonio Felix da Costa. Eriksson dropping back down the order as he's run out of his attack mode, and now is just dropping down piece by piece and now into the clutches potentially of Pascal Wehrlein, the season 10 world champion.
And it's definitely stretching out towards the front. We are seeing the drivers with more energy and on the attack mode, getting themselves away from the pack. We still have a few drivers who need to take their attack mode, the opening one, but then of course we have the second lot that will be coming a little bit later on in the race. So the order has changed quite a bit, as we're going to see, I believe, as Roland now come through into the attack mode, Pepe Marte as well, and we're going to see what he can do as now the people come off their attack modes. It's been so long, now he's going to be the one on it.
Jake Dennis came into attack mode along with Dan Tictum and stuff. The only drivers then that are yet to go into attack mode in this field, Nick Cassidy finds himself in 19th position. Ahead of that, it'll be Lucas de Grassi, hasn't used attack mode yet. He runs in 15th.
Energy on everybody, except there's only Da Costa. Da Costa.
And the other one was world championship leader Edo Mortara, also hasn't used attack mode, but Mortara finds himself down in 14th. That there was the radio message to Pascal Wehrlein, who's in 5th position at the moment. The gap for the race lead sits at 1.9 seconds, although what I've just seen in the first sector Well, it came down by 1.2 in that one sector alone. DaCosta's got 10 seconds left to go of his attack mode as he's closing down on Norman Nato. Where is Ollie Rowland going to be at the end of his attack mode, though? In 3 minutes' time, he runs in 7th at the moment.
And that was the fastest lap from DaCosta, who's saying that purple middle sector continued on to a 59.3 earlier on in the race, 1 minute 7. So that's 8 seconds quicker they are doing now. They are pushing way harder at this point. Now they are more comfortable with the energy.
15 laps left to go in the second of the 2026 Hankook Berlin E-Prix. Into the attack mode for the second time. Jean-Eric Verne, he's the first driver to take 2 attack modes this afternoon. The 3 drivers that are yet to take attack mode, they still remain in the final positions now at 17th, 18th and 19th for Mortara, De Grassi and Cassidy. Obviously Cassidy effectively a non-factor in this race. Mortara without scoring any points at the moment, he would relinquish the championship lead to Pascal Wehrlein, who would go over 1 century of points. It'll be up to 104 at the moment if he continues to run in where he's running right now, which is second position, 1.6 seconds behind Norman Nato. DaCosta's energy's run out, and the 2 teammates of last year have switched for that final couple of steps in the podium. It's Wehrlein up to second, DaCosta in the third, then it's Gunther, Rowland, Barnard, Muller, Evans, Buemi, and then Jean-Eric Verne, the top 10.
I really want to see what the gap between Nato and Rowland is going to be when Rowland finishes his attack mode in another 2 minutes, because Rowland has a couple more percent of energy, but then Nato then has a couple more on everyone else. So Nato's put himself in a really good position after not having the qualifying he would have wanted on P16, just ahead of his teammate Rowland P18, and they just slowly work their way up to the front, a little bit inconspicuous from Nato, and now he's leading by 1.3 seconds as everyone else is finishing the first round attack mode. Here's Wehrlein.
We want free air. Can go to the front.
You can go to the front, as if it's a choice in racing. Definitely a different style. What it means, though, is they need that fresh air to cool down the car. It's hot out there. They can't be sitting in behind other cars. And now he needs to try and get there. He is the front of this little peloton. There's 5 cars, about a second and a half off Nato.
Norman Nato has won 1 race in the NWFA Formula E World Championship. It was 2021. It was the second Berlin E-Prix. It was 4 years, 8 months, 18 days ago was the last time that we saw Norman Nato take to the top step properly. Of course, he was fantastic at the Homestead Miami Speedway last year, but unfortunately didn't take a victory after post-race penalties courtesy of not taking the entirety of his attack mode. The rules as such have changed on that one. At the moment he leads by 2 seconds over his teammate Ollie Rowland, who's got 40 seconds left to go of attack mode and 1% more energy. Norman Nato's driving very well today. For Nissan it's going very well indeed with the first and second. Pascal Wehrlein running in third. Max Gunther in fourth. The next highest placed driver in attack mode is Mitch Evans, who currently finds himself in 6th position. That is his first use of attack mode.
Started down in 17th, so Nato, Rowland, Evans, they all started on the back couple of rows, and now they are the top 3 as Evan gets past Wehrlein for 3rd position. So they started the back, they saved their energy, they're now coming to the front, and we also have attack mode just finishing from Rowland and Evans, so they still have a little bit more of a boost for the extra half a lap or so. Interesting point though, Rowland has caught down a second and a half to Nato.
A bit of contact between the Porsche of Nico Muller and the Citroën of Jean-Eric Verne, who's in his 2nd usage of attack mode. I'm not going to lie here, Cam. I'm looking at Jean-Eric Verne. He's in 6th position. He's in his 2nd usage of attack mode. I don't see him scoring points this afternoon. I think he's gone too aggressive too early in the Citroën team. I think Citroën are going to be walking away with from Berlin here in the 2nd race, completely pointless from this afternoon's racing after a podium yesterday for Nick Cassidy. That'll be insanely disappointing.
Absolutely, because he's taken it too early. He's not been able to get to the front. The likes of Rowland. Oh, there's contact on the back of Pascal Wehrlein. That's not what you want to see from the DS Penske of Gunther. And just a little bit, that's what we saw with Cassidy way back when. That took off the front wing that time around. A little bit lucky there for Gunther.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of moving in the braking zone and such. 13 seconds left to go of attack mode for Mitch Evans. He's found his way, whilst we were talking about that replay, he's found his way past Ollie Rowland. And not only that, he's found his way past Norman Nato. Fresh in the week, Mitch Evans announced that he would be departing the Jaguar TCS racing team at the end of this season. A 10-year partnership between the two of them will be coming to a close. He would dearly love to end that partnership with a world championship. It's the only thing that's eluded him. He's won so many times. He's won more times than any other driver in the AWFA Formula E World Championship. 15 victories to his name has Mitch Evans. but he hasn't got that World Championship, and it hasn't been the greatest start to this season either for him. He finds himself at the moment in 4th in the championship. He was so disappointed after Jarama when he ended up finishing 2nd to his teammate Antonio Felix da Costa. He's a winning driver. He knows how to get the victories done, and now finds himself at the front. He did, however, use 6 minutes of attack mode rather than the 2 minutes of attack mode. Rather than the 4 minutes of attack mode that Norman Nato and Ollie Rowland have used.
Yeah, so 8 minutes of attack mode. You can split it 2 and 6 or 4 and 4. Evans decided to go for 6 minutes in the opening, in the first one. Basically, no one else has done that, so he was the only one to do so. It's helped him get to the lead, but then when we get to the second lot, he's then not going to be able to have those extra 2 minutes. So we'll have to see which balances out in his favour. Here's Evans.
Okay, good job. We have 2% more energy than Nato, 1.5 more than Rowland.
That's some very good stats there for Evans. So he's got to lead and he has more energy, so he can control it there from the front. So he's got 31% left of the energy. Nato and Rowland on 30%. Obviously that's ever changing as they go around the track. And we now are within 10 laps to go. It's lap 28 of 37. So that makes it very easy math. It's about 3% of energy per lap that they can use on average to get to the end of this race. And as we come out to start another lap, it's going to be 8/10 of a gap for Evans in the lead.
He's doing really well. He's searching for his 2nd victory of the season, is Mitch Evans. Of course, he won at Miami, which, of course, we'll be seeing at racing later on in the afternoon. We do hope, at least, of the Miami Grand Prix. Obviously, the weather conditions over there not quite as nice as what we've got here in Berlin, which is, honestly, it's been a perfect weekend weather-wise here in Berlin. A 1 second lead from Mitch Evans. We have got 9 laps left to go. It's Evans, it's Nato, it's Rowland, although those two are going to switch round. Ollie Rowland to the inside of Norman Nato to take over 2nd position. Nato then runs in 3rd position. Jean-Eric Burns rejoined the fight for the podium. He runs in 4th. And it's Pascal Wehrlein in 5th, Max Günther in 6th, Sebastian Buemi in 7th, Antonio Felix da Costa in 8th, Jake Dennis in 9th, and Nico Muller will round out the top 10.
The amazing stat that we can see here. Evans on 15 wins, da Costa Buemi on 14 wins, and then Di Grassi on 13. That is a really great stat. But, of course, da Costa is champion, a double champion as well, the only double champion. Evans, though, 0-3 in terms of the championships. He needs to try and do that this season, as we're seeing a big send down the inside in towards turn number 2 from Jervis. He tries to work his way through Norman Nato, who's now going backwards. He led for a little while there. Now the other driver's coming back through. He's got to look behind, because now Wehrlein is on the attack mode in 5th place.
Indeed, Pascal Wehrlein 5th at the moment, trying to grab 4th in attack mode. He'll take the freshly liveried Pink Pig Porsche we've been seeing this weekend, the historic livery for the Porsche team. Run as it's there to commemorate 75 years in motorsport for the Porsche team. They're running the Apple livery over in IMSA in Laguna Seca. They're also running the Pink Pig, some iconic liveries that we've seen from Porsche over the years. There have been so many iconic liveries from Porsche. Would love to see a few of their other iconic liveries. We've got so many of them, especially from the late 90s and early 80s. Evans, though, is leading by 1.8 seconds. I was going to come back to your point very quickly about World Championships. Obviously, he's not a World Champion, but coming into the season, we're talking about different drivers who could win a World Championship, and how one of the most interesting facts of Formula E is that over the 11 seasons we've had before this, we've had 10 different champions. And coming into this, you'd be sitting there thinking, well, we're running out of drivers. There surely can't be an 11th one we can find. Well, I mean, 2 right off the bat from the 2 Jaguar TCS Racing drivers of last year. Obviously, Nick Cassidy now races at Citroën, definitely one that we could see win a World Championship. Mitch Evans, another one we could absolutely see winning a World Championship. Dan Ticktum's definitely faster. Taylor Barnard's got the potential in him. We could just keep going with different World Champions.
And I think that just shows you how competitive it is, but also how difficult it is to win, because sometimes it can be competitive, but certain teams, they come to the front all the time. But right now, we've got no idea who is going to win this race. We've got Jaguar, Porsche, Envision, Nissan, Citroën, all inside the top 5 different manufacturers there. And even go down a little bit further, you've got DS Penske and Cooper Kiro inside the top 10 as well.
Fastest lap's just been set by Pascal Wehrlein. He's got 1 minute left to go of attack mode, and he's knocking at the door of Mitch Evans. He's going to take over the race lead, though, because Evans goes off the racing line to take attack mode at turn 2. It's now going to be Pascal Wehrlein leading for Porsche. It's Mitch Evans running in second position. Sebastian Buemi and Ollie Rowland, the top four, all in attack mode with just 50 seconds left to go for Wehrlein and Buemi in first and third. 3 minutes left to go for Ollie Rowland in fourth, and 2 minutes left to go for Mitch Evans in second. It is going to be a tight tussle between a lot of those to see who's going to become victor at the end of this lap. We'll have 5 laps left to go at the end of this one. With no safety cars coming out into action this weekend, there will be no added laps onto this race. We'll be seeing this one all the way through the race distance to the end of lap 37.
And everyone has taken their second attack mode, so most of the drivers now currently on that second attack mode. We are seeing a few finishing though. Wehrlein, who's currently leading by half a second, he's got 10 seconds left, and Evans got 1 minute and 10 seconds after doing a lap later. So Evans is looking really strong, but of course Evans only has 2 minutes actually in this final zone, so it's going to be yellow flag out there.
It's down at turn 0, which has got. I think that might actually be more of a glitch. There was something on the start-finish straight, potentially. We do have a yellow flag out on the circuit. It's not a safety car at the moment. I haven't jinxed it, I promise. But we'll have to wait and see. It is on the start-finish straight. Could be for some debris. We've seen plenty flicked off of cars so far this weekend. Pascal Wehrlein, though, will lead with 5 laps left to go. Fastest first sector came in from Ollie Rowland. And the attack for the race lead sees Evans go around the outside, hits Wehrlein on the radio.
We have 2% left. Then Mitch, try to defend to Mitch if you can. He has 1 minute 30 left, so 1 minute more than he...
And that had the information going the way of Pascal Wehrlein about Mitch Evans, firing away around the outside. Mitch Evans has worked his way into the race lead. Ollie Rowland, though, with 1 minute left to go of attack mode, is going to find his way past Pascal Wehrlein, who will have 1 more lap of attack mode versus Mitch Evans, who currently is our race leader.
So Evans and Wehrlein, they are currently 2nd and 4th position in the standings. Ollie Rowland is now 2nd place on the track, but he's 7th place in the standings, trying to work his way back from a couple of difficult races. And this could be an important one for the championship. He's got 1 minute left on the attack mode, and this could be the time that he can get a race win and jump straight back up in the championship fight.
Pascal Wehrlein will be finding himself back in the championship lead as well, with Edo Mortara running in 5th position now, although I think he might be able to hold on from that spot. I'll run the numbers after the race, don't you worry. We've got 3 laps left to go. It's Mitch Evans leading from Ollie Rowland. It's Pascal Wehrlein, Sebastian Buemi, Edo Mortara, Da Costa, Gunther, Nato, Dennis and Vern, the top 10.
Certainly is, with only
Da Costa's dropped down.
He certainly has. Was that maybe the cause of the yellow flag? Was he the one who got some damage? We'll have to try and work that one out as the race comes into the final few laps. His position's changing all over the place as the attack mode drivers are working up. We only have 6 drivers still on the 7 drivers, I should say, still on the attack mode, and the highest position is Ollie Rowland, but that's just finished. So the top 5 now is all level playing field coming in towards the final couple of laps. No added laps, of course, as we continue under green flags, as we did all day yesterday. Here's Evans.
Attention everyone, this is race control speaking. We will go full course yellow. 3, 2, 1, full course yellow.
Unfortunately, that was both radio message from Mitch Evans and Marek Hanaszewski, who has a fresh button straight out to us here on the broadcast, both pressed at the same time. Antonio Felix Da Costa has worked his way into pit lane. It was a rear left puncture, and with no added laps, we are under full course yellow. Now, to explain that one, similar to a virtual safety car in Formula 1, but not the same. In Formula 1, you must hit a delta as you drive around. That's why you see them kind of speeding up, leaving corners and such like that. In Formula E, when we go under full course yellow, it is just a push. Basically, you're on the pit speed limiter and you drive round at that speed. We're getting a replay as to what caused this and why there was a front wing on the start-finish straight. It was Antonio Felix Da Costa squeezing Nico Müller into the barrier, although I must say, at least from my mind, here's Müller on the radio.
Full course yellow ending in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, green flag please.
And that is not Nico Müller, that's Marek Hanaszewski. In my mind, Nico Müller kind of squeezed, Nico Müller was going for a gap that wasn't there.
Yes, there was only about 0.9 of a car to the side. There wasn't a whole car width up against the pit wall. And we go back to green flag racing. 2 laps remaining. It's lap 36 of 37. Evan leads from Rowland and Wehrlein. They're really the fight for the podium today. They've all got similar energy as well.
This is a great battle. Evans, Rowland, Wehrlein, like you say. Sebastian Buemi's a little further off. Confirmation that at the moment Pascal Wehrlein will be swinging his way back to the top of the World Championship. That instant that we were just talking about will be under investigation after the race. Although with Nico Müller and with Antonio Felix Da Costa both being outside of the points, I think it will be a moot point and might result in a grid drop heading into the next race in a couple of weeks' time. We go to the streets of Monte Carlo.
And that is going to be another tough race, as it always is in Formula E, but especially on these circuits that are a little bit different, such as here at Tempelhof. It's, you know, a completely open skid pad that we've made with concrete barriers, and then of course in Monte Carlo where it's so tight and twisty as well. Coming on to start the final lap of the race, they got plenty of energy thanks to that short full course yellow period. Evans lead by 0.7 of a second.
Final lap of the race. We head on to it with Evans leading by 3/4 of a second. He's comfortably holding Roland at bay, who's yet to take a victory in season 12 of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. He does have a whole host of podiums, but that victory still eludes him and the Nissan team.
It does, and that is what he needs to be trying to get in terms of the championship as well. In terms of the championship, this is going to really close it up with the results that we're getting today. So that's going to be great for us coming towards the sort of latter end of the season, next few months. But it's going to be just a 3-point lead for Wehrlein as it stands.
Buemi's really closed his way back into it. It's going to be a 4-horse race for the race victory. Got to say as well, very quickly on Ollie Rowland, he's kind of having a similar season to what Taylor Barnard was having last season, where he's either finishing on the podium or not inside the points. At the moment, he's running in second position, but I don't think he's going to get a chance to win. Mitch Evans takes his Jaguar TCS racing car into the final complex of corners, out towards the line, and for the second time in season 12, it is going to be Mitch Evans continuing to break records. On the week he's announced that he's leaving the Jaguar TCS racing team, he takes a very important victory. It's Mitch Evans for the 16th time in Formula E, taking to the top step of the podium. Roland Wehrlein will join him.
And in the end, they had 7% of energy, so they had plenty in the tank if they had to push more, but that was not needed. Evans took a commanding win in the end. He took that 6-minute attack mode that boosted him up, and then was able to keep that momentum going. Some of the others who took it early, like Nato, dropped down to 5th place in the end. Verne in 8th. Here's Evans.
Patience, mate. Patience. These races, you need to bide your time. And we took a punt before qualifying to save new tyres, started last or towards the back, and just chose the right time. So yeah, thanks to the team for guiding me through that one. It's a team effort, and yeah, we chose our time exactly right. So yeah, thank you everyone in the team, and yeah, lovely win.
And just to hit that point home, Cam, about starting from the back. Mitch Evans finished first, started 17th. Ollie Rowland started 18th, finished second. Pascal Wehrlein started first, finished third. Fair enough. Sebastian Buemi started 13th, finished 4th. Norman Nato started 16th, finished 5th. Edo Mortara started 10th, finished 7th. Jake Dennis started 12th, finished 6th. A lot of starters from the back end or outside of the top 10 have found their way inside of it, showing that there was a lot of strategy beginning even from qualifying.
Yeah, 5 of those top 6 drivers that you mentioned starting outside the top 10, i.e. on the bottom half of the field. So that was a choice. We were mentioning this in qualifying when we were watching it. They chose to keep those tyres. They chose in those first laps to stay there and save a bit of energy. This was not a race you wanted to stay from the front. And Ollie Rowland as well having a very solid day.
Yeah, indeed, it was a great drive for him onto the podium. There was a bit of a drag race up towards the line. He was nearly being beaten, I believe, from Pascal Wehrlein, but actually would end up hanging on. He was able to switch his way past. He was able to switch his way past Roland. You're absolutely right. So Ollie Rowland actually in second position in all that. How's that? Is that a penalty or something?
I'm trying to work that one out as well with what we saw. I mean, Roland on the screens has been given, that second place with Wehrlein in third, but certainly an interesting one running to the line side by side. But for Mitch Evans jumping out of his cockpit, he is going to be hopefully really ecstatic with that one after sort of dropping down the standings a little bit in the previous race, down to 4th place coming into this race, but now jumping up into second. He is going to be loving that one.
I typed that in without even really paying attention. Straight on to the top of his car, Mitch Evans will climb out. You can hear some of the cheers and such from the crowd in the background. Everyone very happy to see Mitch Evans on top of the podium for the 16th time in Formula E, and second time this season, of course. So I'll talk you through the race. Here's Roland.
I still feel like I could have won that, but yeah, okay.
You will pay your beer then.
Second, still a solid result for Ollie Rowland. Let me talk you through the finishing order. It's Mitch Evans winning for the 16th time in Formula E. Ollie Rowland and Pascal Wehrlein will round out the podium. Sebastian Buemi will finish in 4th position with Norman Nato in 5th, making 2 decent results for Nissan this weekend. Jake Dennis in 6th position with Edo Mortara in 7th, relinquishing the championship lead over to Pascal Wehrlein. John-Eric Verne, Felipe Drugovich and Joel Eriksson will round out the top 10. Behind that, it's Taylor Barnard. Pepe Martin will finish in 12th. Then it's Nico Muller, Tictum, Gunther, De Grassi, Maloney and De Costa. Behind that, the finishers of the race. It's Nick Cassidy and Nick De Vries, the 2 Nicks that came together earlier, both retiring from the race. In the championship standings, it's Pascal Wehrlein who will take over the lead of the championship by 3 points over Mitch Evans. Edo Mortara will drop down to 3rd. Ollie Rowland up to 4th in the championship, and Nico Muller, fresh off his victory yesterday, will remain in the top 5. Of course, on the team's championship side of things, it'll be Porsche leading by 12 points over Jaguar TCS Racing, who were victorious for the 4th time this season. A fantastic couple of races here. Cam, talk me through what we've seen. It's been very exciting.
What we saw was some crazy strategy, and those drivers saving at the front of the field, saving so much in the beginning, but in the end it didn't matter. You wanted to keep yourself clean, keep yourself at the back and keep your powertrain cool, and I think that's a big factor as we go into these summer months.
Obviously, we've got a lot of rounds left to go in Season 12. We'll be racing next on the 16th and 17th of May on the iconic streets of Monte Carlo. You can join us, of course, across the talkSPORT network. And for that one, I believe we might even be live on talkSPORT too. Obviously, you can find us on the Formula E app. You can find us on talkSPORT on social media. And you can also get all of the updates of the ABB Formula E World Championship from the FIAFormulaE.com website. From myself, Lewis McGlade, from Cameron Roger, and from all of us here at the 2026 Hankook Berlin E-Prix. We hope you have a great weekend, and we'll hope to see you next time at Monaco. Until then, have a very warm goodbye.